Good afternoon, and thank you to the committee for the honor of presenting this really important award. The Ridenhour Prize for Truth Telling honors individuals who put the fidelity of truth ahead of their own interests. And this year our recipients are Dr. Scott Allen, Dr. Pamela McPherson, and Scott Schuchard for their role as Department of Homeland Security whistleblowers challenging the whole notion of family separation at the United States southern border. The committee who selected Dr. McPherson, Dr. Allen, and Mr. Schuchard came very upfront and said, unlike times since Watergate, we need whistleblowers. We need people who are going to look the truth in the eye and say, this is what's happening, and it's wrong, and we need to do something about it. And this is the role that these Ridenhour Prize winners have for today. Scott Allen and Pamela McPherson are both physicians. They work as subject matter experts for the Department of Homeland Security Office of Civil Rights and Civil Liberties. And in their role as physicians monitoring what was going on, they saw families being separated at the border. They saw some of the other abuses happening to young children at the southern U.S. border. And in their role, they did, as Pam McPherson said to me, answer the question, do you want to write a letter or do you want to make a difference? And they decided to make a difference. They exposed these practices to the Department to the Senate whistleblowing caucus, and were able to get the point across that these things were happening. Scott Schuchard was an attorney for the Department of Homeland Security Office of Civil Liberties and Civil Rights, and he wound up, because of what he saw, speaking out and resigning his position and gave up his job, his livelihood, because he needed to speak the truth for these children. And what happened then was really where I came into play in the American Academy of Pediatrics, because our doctors at the southern border were telling us the same thing. Families were being separated, these abuses were happening. And it caused us to go down and see what was going on. And I'll never forget the time I walked into an Office of Refugee Resettlement tender age shelter. This is where they kept the young children, the 12 years and under children. And I walked into the room of toddlers. And if any of you have ever been in a room with toddlers, you know that they're rambunctious and you know that they're noisy. And this room was quiet, except for one little girl who couldn't have been more than 18 months old, who was just sobbing and beating the ground with her little fists and couldn't be consoled because no one was allowed to hold these children. They weren't allowed to pick them up or comfort them. And I saw one little 2-year-old who had a piece of paper in her hand, and that piece of paper had the names of pro bono attorneys that she could contact if she wanted to represent. Seriously. I mean, if that's not child abuse, what is? When we saw this, we had to speak out as a nonprofit organization who is dedicated to the health of children. And we were able to go to the Los Angeles Times and tell them that we knew that separation of parents and kids centuries ago, decades ago, was a bad idea. But because of what we know of the science of neuromodulation of stress hormones, and we know that when you take a child away from a parent, that unmitigated fight or flight hormones actually causes brain damage, we could call this government-sanctioned child abuse. And the response to that was enormous. From Oprah Winfrey to Laura Bush come out and condemn the family separation policy. And it drove the president 5 days later to rescind that policy. And we no longer have that zero tolerance policy as something that's public. We do, however, still have our challenges. And we continue to have challenges, and we continue to address them. And it is the truth tellers who are able to bring things to light so the rest of us in our community can make this public and make it important and have us focus on the values of human rights that are most important. And because of the bravery of Dr. Scott Allen Dr. Pamela McPherson, and Mr. Scott Schuchart. We will work together on this, and we're doing this because you never stood down, and you never gave in, and you never gave up. And together, we never will. So let's congratulate the 2019 Rising
Thank you, Dr. Kraft, and thank you to the Rittenhour Foundation. I believe I speak for all three of us when I say we are more than a bit humbled to be recognized for merely doing what our profession demands. Physicians and lawyers have affirmative obligations to defend human rights and human dignity as tenets of our profession. In the case of things coming full circle, I'm happy to share with you that I learned most of what I know about the obligations of professionals to society as a Soros Fellow. Society grants physicians and lawyers great privileges and powers, but society expects certain things in return. Protecting the health and safety of children is one of those things. The three of us worked quietly and behind the scenes to monitor the care of children and families in U.S. immigration detention facilities and the Office for Civil Rights and Civil Liberties. From the start, we were deeply conflicted about the detention of children, and we conveyed our concern in terms verbally and in written reports to the highest levels of the department. We even successfully pressed for the immediate closure of the first family detention facility we visited due to dangerous conditions we identified there, something that has never previously been disclosed to either the Congress or the public. However, last spring, the administration launched a reckless and poorly conceived policy called zero tolerance. With our intimate knowledge of the harms of family detention on children in particular, Dr. McPherson and I had a clear professional obligation to notify Congress when the Department of Homeland Security and the administration ignored our warnings. We are very honored by this award and strengthened by your support, but harms to children and families we warned against are continuing as we speak. Children and their families remain in harm's way through actions the government is taking in our names. Our work is not done, which makes your recognition all the more important. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for your support. Our efforts will continue.
My thanks to all of you, and here at the Press Club, particularly journalists. Journalists are our champions, now more than ever. Without the voice that journalists give our truth, I would just be left kvetching with these two guys. Really get those children. Never stop the important work that you do. Our truth is that the separation and detention of children causes harm. Our first-hand experience, informed by science, left no doubt that these actions could have devastating medical and mental health consequences for children, lifelong consequences. Like many of you, we are parents. We were devastated by the images of tearful, frightened children torn from distraught parents. As Scott said, our professional responsibility to protect the health and rights of others was clear. We were and are privileged to be three of many, including Dr. Kraft, giving voice to America's moral outrage over traumatizing immigrant children. It continues to be our honor to speak out. Nelson Mandela said, "There can be no keener elevation of a society's soul than the way it treats its children." Sometimes it feels like America has lost her soul. It's our greatest hope that America recognize her obligation to immigrating children, that we find our soul. Thank you for hearing our truth. It is our hope to continue to speak the truth and to inspire others to speak the truth. Our voices do matter. Speak for children having a childhood. Speak for families staying together. You may never know who you inspire, and know that children are watching us. Use your voice, your pen, your camera. Be the change. Know that what you do matters. You inspire us. Thank you.
Thank you. In addition to all the thanks from Scott and Pam, I really want to countersign all of their remarks. I'd like to thank Mike Madden at the Washington Post and the producing team at 60 Minutes that helped us to bring our part of this much larger story forward. And I also and I also like to acknowledge a couple of journalists in particular who really broke the family separation story long before we came on the scene, and that's Lomi Creel at the Houston Chronicle, who was really starting this in November of 2017, and Dara Landon Fox, who picked apart the false data that CBP was using to try to justify a further family separation policy. Unlike Scott and Pam, we attorneys lack the clear moral compass provided by something like the Hippocratic Oath. And some attorneys, as I think we've learned this year, seem to lack the compass altogether. The closest my profession comes is the constitutional requirement that it's a somewhat circular formulation, but the government may not do that which shocks the conscience. That's the Fifth Amendment standard, is it shock the conscience? Thousands of families and children have come to our country in recent years, fleeing crime and poverty and seeking safety in a situation that lacks easy answers. But as we now understand, senior members of this administration hoped that by further traumatizing these people, word would spread that this country is such a cruel place that no one should come to ask for protection from us, and that people would stop coming. I think the country should be proud of the immediate public revulsion at that idea. As Scott noted in his remarks, family separation did not end with the executive order that ended the zero-tolerance prosecution policy. Families do continue to be separated by the border agencies for other reasons. Please do not let this become a story that passes from the front page and passes from memory the moment that it's not something that we're hearing about every morning. So we're all grateful for the honor of this award, but in accepting it, I think we all want to emphasize that the truth that was really told in this process during the acute phase of family separation was the truth that was told by the American people, that we all know better than to hurt someone's child to make a point. So thank you all very much. And thanks for